Hello and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that, though it started life as a lowly flower girl, thanks to some elocution lessons, was able to pass itself off as a lady at the royal ball. Thanks, Henry Higgins. Say, did you know that during the Middle Ages, Europe was highly militarized? The Franks were fighting each other in civil wars. The Byzantines and the Saracens were at each other's throats. The Holy Roman Empire and the Saxons were fighting constantly. And then, around 900 AD, one people arose from the north of Europe with ideals of love, compassion, kindness, and understanding, and above all, peace. That's right, the Vikings. The Vikings moved out into Europe, and when people didn't hold with these Vikings' high ideals, the Vikings slaughtered them. Anyway, we're going to take a look at Villainous Vikings from Victory Point Games.
Looking at the ladies in and they be looking at me. Ain't coming no fuss. Wherever they be ladies, brother, that's where I gotta be. Other man in my dust.
In Villainous Vikings from Victory Point Games, 3 to 5 players are going to take on the roles of some of these nasty, evil, long-bearded explorers and cutthroats. The Vikings. These dudes were mean. Well, essentially, how the game plays out is you have to create a journey deck, and a journey deck has 3 ages in it. It's got Age 1, Age 2, and Age 3. At the bottom of the Age 3 deck, somewhere in the bottom few cards, is going to be the Ragnarok card, and that's going to trigger your end game. So you're going to put that card out. That's your journey pool. You're going to take your journey pool, and you're going to lay out cards equal to the number of players plus a few more. So you're going to lay out these cards, and these give players certain options. Select the first player. The first player can move to any location on the board. You know, England, Northern Europe, North Africa, Middle East, any of these places. And then there are going to be in the cards some cards that correspond to certain locations. Now, these location cards are going to have gold attached to them. They may have some victory points attached to them. They may have a warrior attached to them. Now, each player is going to have a ship that's made up of 3 cards, kind of a bow, a middle section, and a stern, and each is going to roll a dice, either a white dice, a gray dice, or a red dice. You're also going to pick a captain. Now, your captain is going to have various abilities that are unique to that captain, so you're going to want to choose your captain wisely. Now, on your turn, you're looking at that journey pool, and it may have certain locations on it. You may want to travel to that location because there's certain things you can do once you're there. You can battle to either conquer the location, meaning you can add that card to your pool and you get a little bit of gold that's on there. You may get some victory points. You may get a persistent bonus. Or you can just raise it, throw the card away, but you get 3 times the gold for it. So you can get a lot of gold if you choose to raise instead. You can choose to take an Asgard card instead. The Asgard cards give you special abilities. They may limit the number of cards that can come out, or they may expand the number of cards that can come out. They can do all sorts of weird and funky things that may help you in the game. Or you can trade with locations. Essentially, you can help get them to repair your ship. You have to pay a cost in gold. You can essentially take the gold from that location. You're kind of bullying those people more than trading, really. If there's a mercenary at that location, you can hire the mercenary. Or if you go to a location with another captain, you have to do battle. Now, you're doing battle against locations, in which case another player just rolls for that location, or you're doing battle against another player. Now, combat in this game is very interesting. Essentially, your ship has 3 dice on it when it's at full strength. You have a gray dice, a white dice, and a red dice. And what you're trying to do is get the most swords. Whoever gets the most swords is the winner. So you both roll the dice, and whoever has the most swords wins. But there may be modifiers. Maybe modifiers on your cards. There may be mercenaries, warriors working with you that give you another sword. Your captain certainly gives you some swords. And then what's going to happen is you can also choose to sacrifice cards. If you have certain Asgard cards, certain warrior cards, or certain location cards, you can just say bye-bye to that card and whatever benefits it would have given you otherwise to get kind of a one-time bonus in swords that will help you win that battle. That sacrifice ability may not be just be swords. It could be a hammer, which will let you trigger the captain's hammer ability. It may be other things as well. So after you both play cards to try to win the battle, whoever has the most swords wins the battle, and then you kind of have to take damage. Now, if you roll any shields, your shields negate sword damage, but if you have swords coming at you above the shields you rolled, you look at the sections of your ship. Each section of the ship has a number of strength points. If the swords coming at you exceed that number of strength points, you lose that section of your ship. You're going to have to repair it later. If you got any warriors in that section of the ship, they're gone. Now, throughout the course of the game, you are gaining gold, and you can buy swords during battle, too, with your gold, which is cool. You can also do other kind of interesting and fun things with gold, use it to repair stuff, and then sometimes when the cards come out, you can do stuff with them. You're going to the various locations, and some of the locations may have some really, really strong warriors there to defend them, so you take them on at your peril. Now, as you're playing through the deck, you're trying to gain the locations for victory points, you're trying to gain gold, where you can get more victory points, too, if you have more gold. And so you're trying to accrue this and screw over the other players at the same time. Now, finally, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to get to that Ragnarok card. And when you get to that Ragnarok card, all bets are off. It triggers a really weird and interesting endgame. Essentially, what's going to happen is you're going to have a roll-off. All the players are going to have a roll-off, and they're just going to be going for as many swords as they can get, both with the dice they roll and playing various cards they've got for those swords. You're going to keep rolling, and after the first round of rolling, whoever has the least amount of swords is out. He's not going to get the Ragnarok card. Then you're going to go again, and then whoever has the least amount of swords then is out. You go until there's just one guy who has the most amount of swords, and he gets the Ragnarok card, which is worth 7 victory points. So after the Ragnarok battle, everybody totals up their victory points from the various different ways you can accrue it. Whoever has the most wins Villainous Vikings. Now, one thing I want to let you know, too, about Villainous Vikings is this is actually the second edition. The first edition went out a while ago, and Alan Emmerich, who is the head honcho there at Victory Point Games, he actually sent out an email, a statement saying the game wasn't up to par. It wasn't where it needed to be. I don't know what the problems were with the first edition, but essentially they said, look, give us the old ones back, we'll get you the new ones. And it was very cool. I thought it was a kind of a class act on behalf of Victory Point Games. And frankly, class is something I've come to expect from Victory Point Games. I think they're a fantastic company. So what do I think of Villainous Vikings from Victory Point Games? Well, I got to tell you, a lot of times when I'm reading the rules and unboxing the game, and sometimes having read about the game online, I can kind of get a sense of if I'm going to like it or not. And that's not always accurate. I've been surprised before, but a lot of times I have the sense of, I'm really going to like this game or I'm not going to like this game. And Villainous Vikings was weird because as I'm reading it, I'm of two minds. I'm thinking, this game could either be really cool or it could really suck. And I didn't know how I was going to like this game when I actually played it. And what I found is, and I should point out, the rule book is a little not as clear as it could be. It could have been a little better in some areas, and that's true of a lot of games, but it kind of bugged me here a little bit. But once you figure stuff out, and you get it down, and it clicks, it's freaking awesome. This game rocks. It moves. It's got a good clip to it. Players' turns aren't that long. Each player takes their 2 actions that usually go pretty quick, but you may have a little dice roll, but you're all kind of invested in it. So I really enjoyed it. I really felt this game moved very well. Now I'll tell you, the thing more than anything else that I liked about this game was the variety. And the fact that you go into a battle and you think you got it covered, but you never know what the other guy's going to pull out. You never know what you're going to pull out. And the abilities that you have that makes each captain unique is very, very cool. Some of the things are just, you're looking at a captain who's got a ton of swords, and you've got some text ability, but that text ability could be freaking awesome. And sometimes those swords are what's going to save you. But it's just great. I really like the variation, not only of the captain's abilities, which is cool, but the warrior abilities that come into it. And the warriors, they some of them are mercenaries, and some of them are warlords. There's different classes they belong to, heroes, and they're just the things they can do and the things they bring to the game is a lot of fun. Now, I will say there is a slight danger in this game of a runaway leader. It seems to me in the games we played that was a possibility. But I don't think it's an insurmountable one. I don't think you're going to get a runaway leader every time you play it. But it can happen. It seems to me. But all told, this is a fun game. This was a big hit with my group. everybody kind of went into it thinking, well, I don't know. And we all walked away with a smile from our face. In fact, Justin, my friend, said, who's played a lot of Victory Point games with me, he said he thinks this is his favorite Victory Point title that he's played. I'm not quite there yet. Still like For the Crown a lot, and still like some of the States of Siege games a lot. But I really like Villainous Vikings. It surprised me how much I like Villainous Vikings. It's a great game. So the recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Villainous Vikings is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment here on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on thediscriminatinggamer.com, or on our Facebook page. Please, please, please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are The Discriminating Gamer. There was this thing that the Vikings would do called blood eagling, where they just kind of rip the bones out and they put the organs there and they put salt in there. Vikings.
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
2, 1. Let's just go over this one.